I'd like to start this video by proposing a question. How many avatars must die for the Xbox to stay fly? It's Sunday, so let's get sensational. I'm Mike, and I'm back to talk about the gaming news in virtual form. But you know which virtual form myself will no longer be available? My Xbox avatar. So back in the days of the Xbox 360, Microsoft introduced avatars because, well, the Wii, that was popular and it had the customizable Miis. And also Microsoft created the Kinect to go with it, which, I mean, it existed. Anyway, for whatever reason, they continue to support avatars into the Xbox One generation and the current generation, the Xbox Series. A side note, they really need to fix whatever they've been doing with the naming since the 360 with their consoles. I don't know what's going on here. All right, let me get back to the story. So anyway, Microsoft has decided to take the avatar editor offline. So as of January 9, 2025, the Xbox avatar editor will no longer be available, and as a result, avatars are obviously going away too. Now, they did say avatars will still be available on the Xbox 360, just not the Xbox One or Series. Microsoft is also refunding any avatar-related purchases made between November 1st, 2023 through January 9th. So if you bought anything for your avatar in the last year, it'll basically be refunded. The final thing they said is if you want to, you can take a picture of your avatar and set it as your profile picture if you want to have a reminder of the good old avatar days. But yep, avatars are finally going away, and I think that era is just over, and it didn't really add anything to the Xbox experience by having it, so it makes sense for them to stop supporting it. I do kind of like seeing my avatar on the Xbox sometimes, but 90% of the time I would just forget it was there. Either way, it's RIP to Xbox avatars. But the avatars aren't the only thing that Microsoft may be saying RIP to. So Microsoft recently announced that they will be bringing their own app store to Android with the ability to purchase and play games. They were going to do this because Google lost a lawsuit with Epic related to their app store practices, and as a result, they had to allow third-party app stores on the Google Play Store for the next 3 years. So Microsoft was going to use this opportunity to launch their own app store on Android. I mentioned at the time that I reported this that it could change if Google appealed the decision. Well, it changed. So Google did appeal the decision, and as a result, the courts are basically holding off on forcing Google to make the changes to their app store until the appeal is heard. So as a result, Microsoft said that they're holding on releasing their Android app store. They said it's ready to go, but since Google isn't being forced to allow third-party app stores on the Google Play Store, they're not moving forward with it at this time. There's also the possibility that Google wins their appeal and they're not forced to make any of the changes at any point in the future, and in that case, I'm not sure what Microsoft does. Do they release the app store anyway and just let people sideload it on their Android device, or do they just scrap the whole thing? Either way, the only thing I really know for sure about court cases involving big companies is that they take forever, so it could be a very long time before anything happens with the Xbox App Store on Android. But avatars and Microsoft's Play Store dreams aren't the only things that got RIP'd last week. Look, I know I basically used the same segue for the last story, but there were quite a few RIPs last week, so what was I supposed to do? Alright, what were my options? But anyway, at least this RIP is actually kind of good. So everyone who plays games on PC loves when companies do their own custom launchers. It's like you just can't wait to make a second account on top of your Steam or Epic account just to play those specific games. It's great. Okay, fine, everyone hates game-specific launchers on PC, but the good news is there's one less to deal with. So 2K has officially removed their launcher from Steam and Epic Game Store on PC. The initial update to remove the launcher took place on November 18th, and then a second update on the 25th was done to make sure any remains were fully eradicated. I mean, peacefully removed from people's computers. It's not noted why they got rid of the launcher, but I'm guessing, similar to the Xbox avatars we talked about earlier, they're probably spending money and resources to maintain the launcher and not gaining much from it. So it's RIP to the 2K launcher on PC, but I really don't think it'll be missed. Unlike the era of gaming when Sony made handhelds, but maybe they'll do that again. And in fact, that's what we're talking about today. And our final story. So we had some recent rumors that Microsoft may finally be doing a handheld. The rumor is basically that instead of a cheaper console next generation, they'd be doing a handheld and they would still have their more powerful console like their Series X equivalent. And of course, Nintendo, who's pretty much always on a handheld, we can safely assume that the next system is going to be a handheld too. Well, where does that leave Sony? I guess with the Portal, which again I like, but it's not a true handheld, not like a PSP or a Vita successor. Well, there are new rumors from Bloomberg that Sony has begun development on their own handheld. Now, the rumored device is years away, but basically it'd be able to play PS5 games according to the rumor. This makes sense as the PS5 is AMD based like a lot of these handheld PCs on the market, including the Steam Deck and the ROG Ally. So if they can get a mobile chip from AMD and use their new upscaling tech PSSR, I can see them making a handheld capable of playing PS5 games. Now, as someone who bought both of their handhelds and feels burned specifically by the Vita, I'm not sure if I would give them my money again until I see multiple years of support for the handheld. I was fine with getting the Portal just because all it does is stream games from a PS5, so it's not like they have to make games for it. But if these rumors are true and this new handheld just plays PS5 games, then they wouldn't really need to do a lot of work software-wise, so that could be a compelling handheld. The main issue I see if we're talking about playing PS5 games specifically is by the time this comes out, they're probably going to be close to their next gen console. So how many years of AAA games will we get for this handheld that literally plays PS5 games? Now, the more realistic thing, and this is what I see probably happening, is they'll say it's, quote, as powerful as a PS5, and developers will still have to make games for it, but either way, I would be interested to see what they come up with. The Vita hardware and power-wise was good, it's just the lack of first-party games that ultimately killed it. And I know people enjoyed it for the indie games after Sony stopped making games for it, but still, they kind of gave up on the thing. So again, if they do another handheld, we would have to wait to see if it's just going to play PS5 games, and if not, then what kind of support is it going to get over multiple years? Like, what is Sony going to launch with? What kind of games are they going to make for it? But let me know what you think in the comments. Would you be down for another Sony handheld? How did you feel about the Vita? Again, let me know down below. And if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to tell a friend, tell a coworker, like, share, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button thing to be notified when I drop a video or a live stream. And always do at least 2 things at the same time. Peace out.